What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another preview here for Girl Power. Tonight, we're talking about Midnight 2. Midnight 2, 6 hand size, 29 health character. She has the Chaos, Death, and Void symbols. And she is a pro hero and a teacher. Those are her keyword traits. And she has 2 responses, one of which says response : so no real cost here. After a ranged attack is not blocked, freeze one rival foundation. Okay, and then response commit: after an attack is blocked, mine or yours, your rival discards 1 card. If they discarded a non-attack card, your next check to play a card gets +2. And so let's talk about it. The top response is pretty neat. After your ranged attack is not blocked, selectively freeze one rival foundation. So the question that Midnight is asking is how do I, 1, get my rival's foundations committed, and 2, how do I make it to where people do not block these attacks? These are the 2 questions. And then the second one is, if I block a card, response commit, after an attack is blocked, my rival discards a card. If they discarded a non-attack card, my next check to play a card gets +2. So, I think this character is kind of neat. I think this response commit on my rival's turn is pretty stellar. I think if I block a thing, you discard a card is very, very strong whenever my opponent is trying to kill me on offense. That is, if people were actually the printed hand size that they thought that people think they are. And most of the time, people are not the printed hand size that is on their card. Right now, if you look at like the Death and Earth and Chaos symbols, people are not the printed hand size that they are. Drawing cards is the name of the game, and so the response commit, my rival just discards 1, is pretty underwhelming in this exact current meta. If card draw starts to go away, right? Like if next year, whenever some stuff rotates, I could see Midnight 2 really coming out and playing ball. But in this exact current climate, I'm not positive how far Midnight gets to go. We'll move on to Dire Assault. It's a 5/3, 4 low for 5 with a 2 high block. It is the flash keyword, which means that we don't play enhances. Response: spend 1 momentum, : after this attack is blocked, your rival discards 1 momentum. And so this is very cool to see another void flash attack. Interesting that it's a 5 diff, because there's been a lot of those, but I think that this is a good spot to put a flash attack. I think flash attacks are really, really strong if you start lowering their difficulties. And I think that this response is pretty impactful. Spin the momentum after it's blocked by rival discards 1. It is only going to make, like, Dire Assault says, if you block this, I'm going to spin momentum and you'll discard 2. That could open you up for the rest of a kill turn. And so, like, this card almost feels like it's just a 5 damage move. There's pretty much nothing you can do about as soon as I have a momentum, which I think is a very neat place for this card to be. It's a very neat place for this card to be. We'll move on to Amist Subd. It's a 4/3, 3 high for 2. 3 high for 2 with a 1 mid block. Ranged, stun 2. If your rival does not try to block this attack, freeze 2 rival foundations. So if a block is not attempted, we freeze 2. And then if it's not blocked, we freeze an additional with Midnight. I think they don't even have to make the block. That's correct. Yeah. If they don't try to block. And so the idea here is you play this after their hand is empty, right? But this is just a control card, right? I wish, genuinely, if this thing had the one note that I have on this card, this thing should have had Deadlock Powerful 5. This thing should have had a crazy deadlock, because Midnight is going to want to force you to go into Omega deadlock, because if her game plan works, right? If her game plan works, you have to build big. Like, you have to. Should have had selective commit. I think stun 2 is fine, truthfully. I think stun 2 is totally fine. I want this thing to be the game ender. I want it to be previously in the game, like pre-deadlock. You want to try and block this because you don't want 2 of your foundations frozen. And then post-deadlock, after your hand has been discarded due to all these void discard abilities, I just dome you for powerful whatever. I think that would have been way more interesting than the card that we currently have. I don't think that this card will ever see play, strictly because it does 2 damage. It just won't see play. Maybe if there's somebody like Younger Toguro on the death symbol, or like this card might be good enough in a like a Wolfwood deck where it's a 3 high for 5 stun 2 4 diff that like they have to figure out how to block with it. I'd be down, but I don't see besides those 2 characters who actually wants to play this card. I don't even think that Midnight necessarily wants to play this card. Yeah. Let's look at the last card in the kit, and it is Disarming Glance. It's a 2/5/3 low block response. Oh, sorry, Pro Hero Breaker 1. If your character has the Pro Hero trait, this card also has Breaker 1 on it. Response flip. After an attack is played, players cannot play abilities that add cards to their hand until after it resolves. This card is very good. This card is an anti-draw card that I really like. It does not cancel said draw. It says that you cannot even play the abilities. This card says jury can leave. Yeah, this card says that you can't play referee jury because it draws a card. This card says that when my opponent plays mop strike, they can't strip the blocks out of my hand. This card says a lot, and it doesn't even stop. It says play abilities. It doesn't even say like non-character abilities, right? Everybody knows in the current format, I'm a big Asui 3 fan. If I play an attack, I play a Tasty Riff, and my rival Disarming Glances me. It doesn't matter if I hit you with a Tasty Riff. I can't even play the ability to try and get the counters. I can't draw a card off of Asui. It's just a dead card. My two check attack now says response flip your card. This card's very strong, and we'll be seeing what I believe is a lot of play in the future format. It's very good. And so my question, chat, is do you like Midnight's kit? Do you like how they designed Midnight 2? My personal opinion, I think the only gripe that I have is that the Ultra Rare doesn't have Deadlock Powerful on it. Literally my only gripe. Actually my only gripe. I think that a lot of her stuff is very neat. There are just like 2 phases of the game that she wants to play in. When you have a bunch of foundations and I'm trying to freeze your stuff, and once you're out of a hand, right? Very cool, very interesting control character that I'm excited to give a shot, but just on paper, just like looking at the kit, I'm not 100% positive that I'm like super sold. I like Dire Assault. I think this Subdual just needed a little bit more time in the oven. And Disarming Glance is incredible. It's so good. But YouTube, let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Also over here on Twitch, we're gonna move on to the next one. When an attack is dropped, does it count as resolved? Anyway, you can keep an attack away and have their whole turn without attacks being played. So a dropped attack does not resolve, but states like that clear at the end of the turn, and so the next turn they will be able to play draw abilities. But I don't believe that they could play draw abilities for the rest of that turn. Yeah. Unless like some rule comes out later on that's not how it works. But currently that is how it works. Is the attack never resolved? It was dropped. That's so gross. It just says that they can't draw during the attack turn, right? Like it's a 2-card combo piece with a 3 diff asset and a 2 diff foundation. Like you got to do both, right? And so I think it is a fine and fair thing to do. It's a 2-card combo. It's fine. If it was 1 card by itself, no, we couldn't have it, right? But nah, it's fine.